Most people cannot escape life's constraints on their own. They are often tied to something, but always say they want freedom. Freedom requires courage, even a little madness. Adults need to learn how to become strong, otherwise they will not be able to do anything in this life. Many people often ask, how can I escape loneliness, or how can I get over this uncomfortable feeling? In effect, they are asking how to tie themselves to someone or something. Ask yourself, what is the highest value in your life? Freedom, happiness, or painful bondage? Most people will say they want freedom, they want happiness. But the price of freedom is often loneliness and isolation that few people can accept. Most people cannot be free because they always tie themselves to some bondage, but always say that they want to be free. If you really want freedom, try living alone for a few weeks. You will feel extremely miserable if you leave all your family, friends, job, money, or fame and live alone. No one will surround you, no one will bother you, you will only be in contact with yourself in the space of the mountains and trees. At that time, you will have immediate freedom. But you don't enjoy that freedom and feel lonely and lost. The reality is, people don't like freedom, but they're afraid of feeling lonely and lost. Why are we afraid of feeling lonely? Because we are so used to herd life, social bonds over many generations and years of life. Humans today are like industrially raised animals locked in invisible cages. If we let ourselves return to nature, it will be difficult for us to exist independently. There is a story about a seriously injured tiger who was put in a cage for treatment. At first, it tried to break the cage to escape, but each time it did so, it was injured more severely. After a while, it created its own boundaries by only walking around the edge of the cage, not daring to touch the cage anymore. Later, when the cage was removed, the tiger still only dared to walk around the old area, not daring to step further. Humans are the same. We create invisible cages for ourselves. We look for relationships, careers, nationalities, religions, to draw invisible boundaries that imprison ourselves. We need to feel safe more than to train ourselves to become strong. Nature has drawn two boundaries for all of us, life or death. We program our minds into safe living habits and consider everything that falls outside of those habits to be dangerous. We are telling ourselves to learn to endure life rather than enjoy it. If we humans lived simply like other creatures, we wouldn't struggle with our intelligence and probably wouldn't suffer from stress, anxiety, or other mental illnesses. That's why we need solitude, to be alone. Only when we are alone do we have the courage to understand ourselves, overcome personal temptations, and not be influenced by the invisible cages of society. When we are alone and in contact with our truest self, we see that loneliness is freedom. Freedom from being invaded by invisible boundaries, freedom from the prisons of the mind. Freedom requires a certain courage and madness. If a person is too alert, it will be difficult for them to trade freedom for loneliness, because they will walk between two lines of logic, life or death. Our lives today are not determined by what we have or do not have, but are governed by the outside world. Only when your way of life is not determined by anything outside will you not feel lonely and enjoy loneliness as freedom. You are always alone, whether you have a family or children or not. Therefore, loneliness is your way to return to a simpler, purer life. If you don't learn to accept loneliness, you won't learn anything about life. When a person can endure loneliness, pain and ups and downs of life and still stand firm, that person knows how to walk on the path of walking alone. Each individual is born as a star in the sky. You may not know which star you are, but you are illuminating and influencing others around you. So, completely immersing yourself in a group can make you lose yourself, while being alone can make you shine brighter than ever. Loneliness is the most beautiful thing that life gives us. The most wonderful thing about life is that no one can invade this body of ours. Relationships, work, society can cause pressure, but no one can invade our body and soul. Don't feel miserable when you are alone. Feeling lonely and lost only shows that you are clinging to too many invisible cages and shows an inner weakness and lack of internal strength. To be free, you must handle this feeling of loneliness. It requires a certain inner strength. All adults need to learn these powerful skills, otherwise, you cannot do anything in this life. If you live without being motivated by your own needs, you will live a boring life. But if you live without any needs and can do whatever is necessary, you will live a wonderful life. Choose to be alone to create inner strength, so you can stand firm in the face of life. Buddha is the clearest proof that loneliness creates strength. The Buddha's path is called the path of solitude, but it is also the path of one-pointedness. Through loneliness, he discovered his inner strength, leaving an imprint on humanity for thousands of years. The Buddha's journey is like a train track, kept at a fixed width. His path has no beginning or end. We are the same. Our life is an endless journey. Whether you accept it or not, you are always alone. Enjoy solitude and use it to practice inner strength. When you gain wisdom from loneliness, you will have a deeper awareness of life. Self-isolation only comes from deep within. Ultimately, the freedom of being alone is the most wonderful aspect of life. I would like to pause this video here. Thank you for watching. If you find this video useful, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel so more people know and love this video. Don't hesitate to press the thank you button to make the channel available. Motivation to spread the community better. See you again in the next videos.